Big thanks to Diamond Select Toys for sending this one out. Check out links in the description down below to pick this figure up. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Kaiju, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. We are hello there, collectors. It's Steven here with another review of Jaeger Diamond Select Toys release of Bracer Phoenix. So this bulky Jaeger that is touting out some guns on his chest is ready to join your collection with some sweet articulation and a hefty price point of, wow, $25? Alright, so what's the catch? It doesn't look great. Well, nope, that's not true. Articulation's bad. No. Accessories? Maybe that's it. Yeah, well, let's take a look to see whether or not it's worth adding into your collection. So Bracer Phoenix here really does sort of have a design issue going on here. Unfortunately, the coloration just does kind of blend everything together. It is tan in color, and to be honest, everything that's sort of breaking up the different parts together is going to be either gray or a different color tan. That's not a fault of Diamond Select at all. Realistically speaking, it's not. That's a design issue with the Jaeger. But at the same time, I do think that Diamond tackled this figure relatively well, and I do think that utilizing different colored plastics along with adding in details where they were able to for the price point, Diamond Select did a great job. Again, like I've said in all of my Jaeger reviews so far, I think that is where every single Jaeger has excelled in the looks department, and this one is not of any exception. So let's take a little closer look at what is arguably my favorite of the trio initially released so far, and see why I like it so much. Taking a look at the con pod, it is pretty straightforward, and if you're looking at it really close, unfortunately, I can't capture it with my camera. There are very, very small sculpted windows on the con pod. Very, very nice to see here, and at $25, I really did not expect to see this at all, considering the size, the articulation. Very neat to see here. I really do commend Diamond Select Toys for doing this. Now, for the rest of the figure, it really does follow suit. And the way that they were able to do the weathering here for this one, which I didn't necessarily think would work from looking at some of the pictures online, but seeing it in hand, it does, is that they used what seemed to be sort of a thinned out paint for some areas on Bracer Phoenix, in that you can actually see streak marks on areas like the shoulder pads. Now, you think that that might not work, but it does give the effect that this Jaeger has been battling in cities day after day. Like it's been facing an onslaught of kaiju again and again and again. Maybe it had a battle with 2 or 3 knife head clones, followed up by maybe a leatherback or something to that effect. Obviously, it hasn't. The only time it saw a kaiju conflict was when, well, you know, when we had another triple event. You've seen the movie, but still, you get the point that they're going for here. This Jaeger is big, it's tough, it has a lot of fantastic detailing, like the right arm being relatively bland, but the left arm looking like it could pretty much level an entire city with all of the artillery that it's carrying. Now, the gun on the chest actually does look nice. We can identify all of the barrels on it. It looks really cool. It actually looks like it's maybe made of a different plastic, which is nice. And then the rails on it that would allow it to move to the back are also painted, and they are sculpted really cool. You can actually feel them. They are textured. Cool to see there. Moving on down for the legs, we do have some more details on them. They are all painted on, which is really neat. And then we do have that nice ammo cannon pack on the left thigh of Bracer Phoenix here. Continuing on down, we do basically have that walking tank-like structure for Bracer Phoenix here, and the rest is gravy. Basically, Bracer Phoenix does look very nice despite the fact that the design is very simplistic and there is not much to write home about. Even though they were given a very simplistic template here, Diamond Select Toys did a very solid job. Bracer's articulation here is rather fitting of the character and of the design. Unfortunately, we're not going to have something that's going to be able to do backflips and a whole bunch of tricks here, but I do think that the articulation is thumbs up serviceable for a Jaeger that's going to look like this. So what do we have? We do have a very interesting design for the head, how it plugs in, because we can actually get them to look down and we can sort of get him to pop his head out, right? So that's pretty cool. Left and right movement is awesome, though. Probably the best out of the 3 of the first wave of the Diamond Select Jaeger so far, so that's good to see. There's big old shoulder pads. These are going to be on ball joints, so we can get some really neat movement out of there, yeah? That's pretty cool. And they can even pop off if they need to for whatever reason, whether or not you're extending the range of movement for the shoulders or battle damage. The shoulders do plug in on ball joints, so we can move them around like that. Twist and turn. And the way that that peg plugs into the shoulder itself is going to be on another ball joint. So we get double ball joint action goodness. Bicep swivel, not traditionally. That's basically going to cover the bicep swivel as well. We do have elbow hinges, as you can see there. That's about the range of movement, so not a true 90-degree bend, but at the same time, do you really need more than that? We do have swivels because the wrists are plugging in on pegs. So we do have swivels, and then we do have hinges for the wrists. So there is that. For the ab crunch, we do have a ball joint, which because of the design and the rails for the gun, unfortunately, we do have it hindered just a little bit, but that's because of the design, not necessarily an engineering fail, but it does line up really well. So for a design choice on the actual figure, take it or leave it. Now, for the hips, they plug into the body on a swivel, right? And then they plug into the actual thighs on ball joints. So we can twist and turn them and move them right here where they plug in. But the actual wire connection here that you can see, like, well, the wire for what would be on the Jaeger, that's a swivel. That's a swivel. We do get one hinge here. We do get another hinge here. We get your actual ankle rocker, swivel hinge, mumbo jumbo going on here. And then we do have a toe hinge right here to move up and down a little bit too. So overall, I'm very impressed with the articulation for this Jaeger. I do know that this one is kind of bulky in design, but to be honest, out of the 3 Diamond Select Jaeger so far, this one is the most stable for me, and it's the one that I have fun posing the most. So if you're looking for the best action figure for your buck, Bracer Phoenix is going to be the one for you so far, at least. So where they did really well with the looks for all 3, and they kind of didn't do great with the articulation for Sabre Athena and Gypsy Avenger with some loose joints, or maybe they could have pushed the envelope a little bit more with articulation. They did both of those things really well for Bracer Phoenix here. But where they dropped the ball with Bracer Phoenix is they only included hands. We only get fists. So Bracer Phoenix has rear cannons in the movie, which we don't get here, and it can also put the front cannons on its chest away, which we only have the display option for the cannons on this figure. Okay. Now, see, realistically speaking, for the price point at about $25, I mean, that's kind of understandable, and this is the preferred display option because, okay, it does have a weapon, and if they were to not have that weapon displayed, that would kind of be upsetting, but it's still kind of one of those things where it just makes you go, huh? Like, they couldn't maybe have just had a part where we can just at least remove the front cannon and swap it to the back? I don't know. But regardless, for the fists that we get, they're easy to swap out, and they actually do add a whole new characteristic for Bracer Phoenix here, because it is a brawling Jaeger in the same vein as Cherno Alpha, so I will give them that. It was basically needed here, and if you do need more accessories, I have a video for that, and you can check that one out. So for $25, I do kind of feel like we did get the short end of the stick here for this one, but you know what, for the sizing and the details, I'm kind of sort of okay with that one. Anyway, to round out the review, here's a nice size comparison for you with some other figures, and as you can see, though Bracer Phoenix is pretty bulky, it is the small one of the group. So if you're only going to get this one, don't worry, you're going to be able to make plenty of shelf space on your shelf. So buy now, skip, or wait for a deal. Overall, I do think that Bracer Phoenix is probably my favorite of the 3 from the initial wave. Why? Not only does it look nice, but I think that the articulation is pretty solid, though the accessories, well, they definitely could be better, and we could have at least gotten another gun or another part to swap out the gun for the chest. But at the end of the day, I do think that this one is very nice, and it holds up the best joint-wise. You can even put it in some funky poses and leave it there overnight. Now, admittedly, if your cat decides that it wants to knock it over in the middle of the night, that's not something that you can control. No, I'm not telling you a personal story. Anyway, Bracer Phoenix is a very nice figure, and if you're thinking about picking it up for $25, absolutely. If you like Cherno Alpha from another company that was made, then this is going to be definitely in the same vein. I do think that import fans will love this figure as much as I do, so if you're like me, definitely consider getting this one. Seriously, I can't sing the praises of this one enough. I just wish they would have added some more accessories, and that's not me complaining or nitpicking here. That's me wanting to say, hey, you guys did a good thing. I just wish you would have made it better. So yeah, Bracer Phoenix, good. Gets an A in my book. Go out and buy this one today. Well, folks, that's the end of this review. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow me on social media to catch more behind-the-scenes shenanigans and updates. The end card should be popping up now with more hand-selected STR goodness for you to watch, so check out some of those videos. Be sure to check the description, too, to see where you can buy this figure or others like it, and some cool links like the credits for this video and other ways you can help out the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.